그럼 계속 가봅시다. 갑작스레 영혼이 튀어나와서 좀 당황스럽긴 한데
I'm still not sure.
Should we take another look?
이건 이제 왜 못 풀어 이거?
Let's come back later.
저 잉크 모시기 쓸 수 있을 텐데. 피츠. 아, 음악을 들려줘야 된다고.
This is a good example of how things work. I mix that soil here in the greenhouse. It's made with water from the lake.
And it makes the fruit grow all shiny and gemstony.
Sometimes, you never really know what's going to happen.
And what do you do with this shiny and edible fruit?
You look at it. A flower.
Yeah, it's a flower. We found it in Penny's room.
Okay.
Mean anything to you?
Why would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to.
호호. 노래를 들려줘야 된다고? 노래를 틀 수 있는 이거던가? 아, 나 성격 급한데.
It's piano music.
아론. 이건 아닌가? 단순한 노래라고 했지.
That's the
It's all set.
sure is.
단순. 글쎄요, 노래를 들려줄 수 있는 수단이 뭐가 있었지? 피아노? 다시 봐. 밥이 아니고 우리가 소리를 들을 수 있는 곳이 어디 있었지?
That's
There's just
something.
feels out of place. We already solved it.
어이구. 피츠한테서 아직 해결 못한 게 있나? 왜 계속 저 힌트가 피츠랑 얘기를 하라고 하지? 뭔가 놓친 게 있나 봐.
What's with the broken glass?
This is yours, Fitz?
Yeah,
Do you use it?
I keep all my tools in the greenhouse.
That wasn't what she asked.
Nice painting. Gives you a pretty good idea of the layout.
The lake looks like it forms a perfect circle around the island.
It might seem strange to you, but nature is quite capable of producing perfectly geometric forms.
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable. Not even Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
This painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
오.
So Freya just made it up.
Let's call it an informed estimation. I like Flora. I hope she's all right.
Do you think she had anything to do with the murder?
There's no way. She wouldn't willingly cause any additional suffering for anyone. Felix is a contradiction. His loyalties are placed firmly within the realm of materialism, money, property. But his ego relies on an entirely fraudulent self-image, don't you think?
I was just about to say the same thing.
She questioned
인물부터
me.
하나하나 다
About what?
My work,
단서
the
던져봐.
plants, bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure? Maybe she did it when you weren't in there.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me, I can tell. She was always kind to me. She'd come into the greenhouse when I was working, sometimes by herself, sometimes with Poppy. I think they were just bored at first. Eventually, they started asking questions.
About what?
Poppy wanted to learn about flowers. Freya, she used to ask me about the insects.
Insects?
One of my jobs is to protect plants from things that might eat them. Freya brought me this little glass box.
이거
leaves
그
and twigs
프레야 방에
inside.
있던 그 상자 말하는
She'd
거죠?
say, put all the troublemakers in there. Every day I'd put a handful of beetles and other things in the box. Then she'd come along and take it away. I didn't really understand her,
깍정벌레를
but she was
프레야가
always
모았다.
kind.
깍정벌레를
Have you met
프레야가
this guy,
모았다는 거죠.
Fitz? Shifty eyes. Doesn't say a
황금
lot.
깍정벌레랑
Totally
연관이 되나 이게?
suspicious, if you ask me.
That's me.
Yeah, that's... It was a joke. I was joking.
Oh, I see.
I imagine you don't visit the astronomy tower too often, do you?
No, but I still see Pointer, sometimes. He's always curious about what I'm growing in the greenhouse. Asks me about the birds, too, and insects. He's pretty clued up on his evolutionary biology.
I didn't think there was much overlap between astronomy and biology.
Penelope is my fiancée.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Penny doesn't really strike me as your type.
She's not who she pretends to be. People think
오야 얘 웃는 거
she's...
처음 봤어.
Well, they make assumptions.
And
방금
how's the
잠깐은
relationship
웃지 않았어
doing
얘?
recently?
Good. It's good.
아니 근데 잘못 봤나?
Poppy and I are friends.
Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes, blue hair, an average of 3 words per sentence. Oh, you're like 2 peas in a pod.
She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. Unusual flowers, mostly. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong? Who gave you that information?
Well...
We don't actually know who it was. We were contacted anonymously.
응?
I see. And what happens if the person who contacted you turns out to be the murderer?
I never thought about that.
Honestly, that would be kind of fun.
누가
Like a
불렀는지도
twist, you
모른다고?
know?
It's of no interest to me, but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about it once.
What were they saying?
They were arguing about something, but I can't
Poppy?
remember the details.
이거 파피한테 나중에
How
물어봐야겠구나.
odd.
What do you think that is in Flora's hand?
I don't know. It does look like a knife, but Flora wasn't holding anything at all when I saw her after the murder. But there's something bothering me. Something else.
뭔데?
What?
When we went into Flora's room, she wasn't standing in this position.
Well, she probably would have moved around a little bit by then.
She wasn't standing at all. She was kneeling on the floor.
무릎을 꿇은 채였다고?
There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly. Paints are different to flowers.
I'd say so, yeah.
At any time, flowers can bloom with perfect
플로라
faultless
방 가봐야
colors.
된다고.
Red,
1번.
blue, white. With paint, once you've tainted a color by mixing it with others, not even the most skilled painter can return it to its pure form. That belongs to Poppy.
So why is it up in Flora's tower?
I'm not sure. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. It's an egg with feet.
It was locked, but we opened it. But it was empty.
Fun story. I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
Me 3. Oh, sorry. I thought you said me too.
That's quite sweet, really. Felix made that? Huh. Freya's best work, in my opinion. Although, the photo doesn't carry the same energy as the real thing.
What do you think it's a painting of?
What do you mean?
Like, what's the subject matter? What's that big red thing?
Oh, I don't think it's that kind of painting. Penelope knows about birds. You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see? Do you have any? In the greenhouse?
No, I don't grow that anymore.
Anymore?
I've tried in the past. It's incredibly difficult,
Oh.
even for me. I could never get it to live more than a couple of weeks. Penelope's 3 favorite birds. She's very protective over them.
Are they, like, her pets? Do they have names?
Oh, they have names. Penelope loves to name things.
Do you remember what she named them?
I do not.
Any idea who this is?
No idea. Poppy's piano music. I remember when she started learning. She's improved a lot since then.
Yeah, that's generally how it works.
Right. Of course.
파피가 이거 연주해 줄 수 있나?
Those petals,
What?
they're red.
뭐 아닌
Wait,
것 같은데.
those are mine, the earmuffs. They went missing about a week ago.
What do you need earmuffs for?
I use them for gardening sometimes.
Why? You don't own a chainsaw, do you?
No. I wear them while I'm gardening, and it stops people from trying to talk to me.
That's genius.
We found these up in the rooftop garden. Do you know how long they've been there?
No, could have been a long time. We don't ever really clear up the rooftop garden.
일단
Why
플로라한테
not?
플로라 있던 방에
Nature
다시
is
가야 돼요.
unruly. In
물감
truth,
때문에.
it prefers to be
1번.
left alone. It's Fifi and
그리고
Freya.
파피한테 가서
Don't you think
저거
Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe,
연주해 줄 수 있냐고
maybe not.
물어보자.
She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
Right, but if she was in the photo,
아,
that'd
이렇게
be
힌트를
thrilling.
주네요.
Checkmate.
우린 이미 풀었지만. 난 물어보지 않고 풀었지만. 그러니까 정답을 맞춘다면 단서를 다 확인 안 해도 힌트 없이도 갈 수 있는 거고.
Supposedly, Freya was working on
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
뭐가 없다는 거야? 아까 분명히 얘가 뭐 없다 그랬어.
Supposedly,
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
Freya's painting supplies. A little pot.
It's the only plant in the entire. A bunch of old books covered in dust now, but they look. The attic strip.
Yeah.
It's so dark.
Somehow the sunlight.
A bunch of old covered in dust now, but we already solved it.
Anything we should know? Besides staring out the window?
아, 말 좀 해. 너 어디까지 말 안 하나 보자. 다 클릭해줄게 내가.
Is this your gramophone?
Do you know why it's cracked?
이거이긴 해보자.
Flora, this is your egg? Why do you keep it locked?
Is there supposed to be something in there, or is it always empty?
혹시 아줌마한테 답장을 하고 있는 건데 우리가 안 기다려주는 거 아닐까?
Do you know what this
고개를
is?
끄덕이는데 한 10초가 걸리는데
Guess
안
not.
기다려주는 건가?
You haven't seen this yet, have you?
It's a little model of you. Who are the other people next to you? What do you think of your husband's hobby?
와
Do
근데
you have
진짜
any
이거
hobbies?
만화에서 만약 무능한 경찰 같은 거 등장했으면은 플로라는 이미 잡혀갔다. 사건 현장에 혼자
Have
있었잖아.
you seen this book before?
위력
Do you know who it
용의자라고
belongs to?
원래는. 난 아직도 왜 얘가 멀쩡히 그냥 가만히 있는지 모르겠어.
I really thought she was gonna say something there.
가장 의심돼야 될 대상 아니야? 살인 현장에 둘이 있었는데 딱 피해자랑 심지어 발견자도 아니야. 얘가 막 뭐라고 한 것도 아니었어.
Do you know anything about these birds? Or birds in general?
와 한결같이 말을 안 하네.
Do you recognize any of these feathers?
This is a photo of Fifi, isn't it? Your daughter? We met Felix, your husband. He's one of our suspects, and he seems pretty suspicious if you ask me. So, if you want to stick up for him,
하겠냐?
now's your chance.
와 이번에 머리가
Nice
휘날렸어
try.
그래도.
We spoke to your daughter Fifi. She's some kind of super intelligent scientist. You must be proud of her. We spoke to Hawkshaw. I assume she didn't get anything out of you either. I bet that really ticked her off.
Do you and Fitz have anything to do with each other? Other than your initials? You know the guy in the other tower? Weird astronomy professor guy?
와
Can you see him from your window? Can he see
한결같네.
you?
아무 말도 안 하네.
What do you know about Penny?
I can't really imagine those two being friends, to be honest.
You never know. Do you and Poppy get along?
Nothing. Shocker. Grimore, what could you possibly be writing down?
Oh no, I gave up making notes ages ago. Now I'm just doodling in the margins.
잠깐만 악보 좀 보여줄게요 빠삐한테.
Yeah, it's mine.
Can you play the tune for us?
Sure. It's literally 8 notes. I have it memorized.
역시. 잠깐 피아노에서?
What do you make of the statue?
I know that's the only harp in the whole of Tangle Tower. I've never actually seen a real one.
Maybe it's from before your time.
Oh, definitely. You see how old this statue is?
What about the symbols? One of them looks like piano keys.
Yeah, weird.
잠시만요. 호수 가장자리라고 그랬거든.
A little pond.
It looks, see those metal?
Yeah.
Nothing. Looks like somebody broke them and then.
Ah, a little wonder how it's hooked up.
여기 어딘?
Ah, I wonder how it's hooked up.
호수가 여기가 아닌가 본데. 플로라의 탑에서도 멜로디가 들렸다고?
Half the rooms.
I don't know if you can call it the sudden absence of wall. I don't know if the sudden absence of wall.
아 이건 플로라의 탑이구나. 방이 아니라. 이건 피츠고. 플로라의 방이 어디지? 이건 프레야고. 이건 피피. 이건 파피. 이건 페니. 이건 다락방. 플로라의 방이 어디지? 뭐라? 작업장. 여기도 방이 아닐 텐데? 천문탑.
It's not locked.
A door.
Oh, what's behind
A
it?
room.
Stairs.
Stairs.
Now it's a.
There are
it's
weeds
an
in
aquarium.
could be anymore.
What is?
I think it's a family trait.
플로라의 방이 어디지? 이건 프레야의 방이죠. 이건 연구 도서실이고. 피피아 얘기하는.
What is your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens, unique architecture.
플로라의 방을
Must
찾아.
be worth a fortune.
아직 뭐 내가 못
Why do you
들어간
ask,
건가?
Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family.
오.
This makes me the sole beneficiary of Tangle Tower.
That's quite an inheritance.
They can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her.
프레야처럼 말하는 거
I
맞죠?
require facts. What do you know?
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell.
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife
안
found
될까?
at the crime scene,
Apart from the one in the painting.
which as a mere abstract representation does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife. The statue itself does not interest me, but I do wish to know about those symbols on the harp. Have you deciphered their meaning yet?
어.
Working on it.
We are.
Wait. If I need only two, how about that?
I'm still not
Should
sure.
we take another look?
What? 아 왜? 두 개 더 없어도 찍으면 될 거 아니야. 확률 낮지도 않은데.
Let's come back later.
참. 찍기를 모르는 녀석들이고. 원래 저런 건 노가다로 하면 풀리는 거라고. 뭐 암호 횟수가 정해진 것도 아닌데 좀 노가다 좀 하면 어때서? 보이나? 그럴까?
Curious. Freya is normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
액시던트가 아니었다면?
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is holding. I performed the test on the red paint myself.
그래, 그게 왜 피가 거기 묻어 있을까?
But blood.
What made you want to test it in the first place?
그래.
It was
이유는
Poppy.
뭐였어?
She told me she thought the painting looked like a
Poppy가?
bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was overly viscous.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course,
괴짜한테 물어봐라.
the red paint on the brush is not paint. It is blood. Same for the palette.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
Do not know the answer.
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood,
Hmm?
not paint.
A whole pot full of blood?
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but
애시당초
still,
처음부터 빨간색이
doesn't it
피었다고?
freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring.
진짜 주술
That
같은 건가?
belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs. There are a number of egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the grand hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs. Now this is interesting. Where did you find it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Nope.
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah, you could.
I would not say that, however.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No, it would be quite naive. To study science in any field is to study the connections
어우,
between
이과
all
냄새.
matter in the universe, living
그
or
중에서도
inanimate.
자연과학 쪽 냄새다. 어우,
Is this yours, Fifi?
I do not recognize it.
같은
Besides,
이과라도
I would
공과랑
have
저런
no use for
자연과학
such a
쪽이랑
thing.
또 느낌이
Perhaps it
다르답니다.
could be used to hang wet laundry?
Was that a joke?
Yes. It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya?
프레야라고?
A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red paint.
Do you know who was reading this book?
쟤 또
It belongs to my
이상해지는데.
mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother's not been in the library for some time. This belongs to
느낌이
Professor
이렇게
Pointer.
세야지.
Is it
빨간색
not?
옷이 어떻게 페인트칠을 했을까라는 얘기.
I don't think so.
그 방에
Who
있었을
else
수도
would
있을
own such a
텐데.
pointless little telescope?
It's a telescope.
Oh, yes. It has a telescopic lens. It can only be used for looking at things that are far away. The fruit here has a unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless. Unless you wish to cut it down and sell it as a precious stone.
It's not edible.
Depends
On what?
on the structural integrity of your teeth. That blade.
It's a troll
Blade?
for gardening.
블레이드라고? 잠깐
Why did
블레이드라고
Poppy leave
했어?
shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be? I am scared of birds.
Why?
It is an irrational fear. I have no suitable
아 너무
explanation.
많은 데이터가 머릿속에 들어오니까 헷갈린다.
Who is that in the photo?
I'm quite sure that I have no
이미
idea.
풀었어. 빠삐인 거 알아.
An item from Poppy's childhood. Her earliest piano lessons hold some special significance for
내가
her.
몇 개 건너뛰고
Why is
빠삐를
that?
푼 거네.
No
원래
idea.
빠삐가 벌써
She's
풀렸으면
never
안 되는
graced
건데.
me with the details, and I am not forthcoming enough to ask.
You two are friends, right?
We are, yes.
But
It is clear to me now that Poppy has become tired of my company.
Is it anything to do with Freya?
Oh, no. The changes in Poppy's mood have nothing to do with Freya. Her concerns simply lie elsewhere. Who is this her to whom the message refers?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object?
근데 이게 되게 재밌는 게
It
이
is a flower.
게임은 퍼즐 자체는 그렇게
Reminds me of
어렵지 않아.
something,
근데
but I
퍼즐까지
cannot say
도달하는데 시간이 걸려.
What's wrong?
Earmuffs do not go on statues. What a mess. Penelope should tidy up after herself.
These weren't dropped by Penny. They were dropped by birds, I think.
My argument stands. This photograph is my favorite photograph.
So, why'd you rip it in half?
That was not me. Besides, it was not a half that was ripped off. It was only a third. Name, Flora Fellow. Age, 44. Profession,
엥? 44였어?
unknown. Likes,
그렇게 젊어?
unknown. Dislikes,
플로라
unknown.
생각보다 되게 젊었네.
Isn't she your mother? How do you not know
아,
anything?
그럴 수 있어. 생각보다 가족에 대해 모를 수
I
있어.
believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting nonverbal communication.
And how long has Flora been non-verbal?
She has always been quiet, willing to speak when necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond.
일이 있을까?
Name, Felix Fellow. Age, 53.
와, 나이 많다.
Profession, none. Likes, collecting objects of negligible monetary value and
야,
assigning
딱
them
봐도
personal
플렉스는
value.
무슨 뭔가
Dislikes,
얘가
the
범인이 아니어도
inescapable
뭔가
realities
저질렀을
of human
캐릭터인데
existence.
돈을 금전적으로
Felix is
돈을
my father and
좋아하고
legal guardian.
어?
And,
애가 뭔가
Is he a
이상한
good
소리
dad?
하고
I have no point of comparison, but I would say no.
no? Why not?
You asked
플렉스는
me a
혹시
binary
플로라와
question.
결혼한
Do not get
이유가
upset that I
돈
provided one of the two
때문일까라는
possible
얘기도 나올 수
answers.
있을
What makes
정도로
him a bad father, Fifi?
He has trouble expressing his emotions and something of a willful detachment from reality.
Huh. Just like you, then.
Grimoire.
No, he is quite correct. Name, Fiona Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, amateur microbiologist. Likes, the meaningful archiving of information. Dislikes, the superfluous window dressing accompanying the majority of human contact. Notes, kindly disregard the polysyllabic form of my given forename and refer to me instead as Fifi.
How come you prefer Fifi?
How come you prefer Grimoire?
How are you related to the other fellows?
Fitz is my cousin. His father, a man named Flint, was my uncle.
Was?
I do not know if Flint is alive or not. He left Tangle Tower a long time ago.
And what about Freya? How are you related to her?
We share exactly one grandparent. Name, Haksha. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clipboard. Name,
얘잖아.
Freya Fellow.
클립보드 갖고 계속
Age,
난리치는 애가.
19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me. There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became, 1, increasingly independent, and 2, increasingly isolated.
Do you know why?
I do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
또
The three
파피야?
of you are friends.
We are of a similar age
파피한테
and all highly
그
gifted. One scientist,
최종
one
조사를
artist,
했어도
and one
단서를 다
musician.
던져봐야 되네.
Sounds like quite a team.
Name, Fitzfellow. Age, 24. Profession, crypto botanist. Likes soil, dislikes electric lights.
Hang on. Cryptobotanist? I thought he was just a gardener.
That may well be his preferred label. Mine, however, is more accurate.
Do you and Fitz not see eye to eye, Fifi?
We do not.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. He's well over 6 foot and you've got to be just barely 5.
So, what's your problem with him?
Exactly 1 week ago, I witnessed him sneaking up Pointer Tower.
어?
He was making every effort to avoid detection.
포인트 타워엔 안 간다 그러지
He
않았냐?
was also carrying a knife.
쟤 안
Name,
간다고 하지 않았어요?
Percival
아까?
Pointer. Age, 57. Profession, none.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me.
자, 일단 증언 불일치하나 나왔습니다.
Penelope Pointer. Age,
이게 아마
27.
조만간 단서를 제가 충분히 모으면은
Ornithologist.
이거 한 번 더 조합하려고 할
birds,
거거든요. 그럼
dislikes,
거기서 아마 이제 얘가
insects,
말한 거랑 피츠가
notes.
말한 거가
Penelope.
컨플릭트 되면서
very
이제
beautiful.
충돌하면서
I have never had very much in common with
뭔가
her.
또 하겠죠. 추리 같은 거.
Name, Poppy Pointer. Age, 19. Profession, oh. Apparently Poppy has defaced my notes. Under profession, I had of course originally written pianist, but she has crossed that out and written the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
There's something about Felix something.
Let's ask him about it.
가보자고. 야,
There's something.
Let's ask her about it.
어이야.
So, this painting, specifically that knife in Flora's hand.
Yeah, it's creepy. But we didn't find a knife anywhere in the room.
나이프가
So,
아니라면
what's going on?
말 한마디 좀 해줘봐요.
It's not a knife.
나이프가 아니겠지. 거기 끄덕였어.
We need a clue to compare with the painting. Something to explain what that knife shape actually is.
That kinda makes sense.
야, 그러면 깃털?
That kinda makes sense.
생각이란 걸 해보자. 새와 새자 동상 아닐까? 조각사?
That's not it.
깃털은 맞는 것 같죠. 나도 그렇게 생각은 하거든. 근데 깃털이 아니래.
Let's take a closer look at this.
이거 아닐까? 뭐고?
The painted knife is actually just a feather from an ink dip bird.
It's definitely the right
야,
shape.
웃긴 거는
But the book's
정작
not in
상대는
color.
아무 말도 안 해.
The thing Flora's holding in the painting is
상대는
red
아무
and
말도 안
white,
하는데
specifically.
진행이
Is there
되고
anything
있어.
to suggest that the ink dip bird is red and white too?
이거
This little thing? I don't understand why Felix would make a model of this bird as part of a gift for Flora. And come to think of it, why would Flora be holding a feather in the painting anyway?
The ink dip
이건 아닐
bird
거고, 이건 아니야.
attacked Flora, so she destroyed a single feather
아니야,
as
이건 아닐
evidence of a crime. Nope.
전혀 아닌 거야. 잘 봐. 페니의 애완동물이 아니라 플로라의 애완동물이고 깃털 한 대를 갖고 있었던 거는 기억하기 위해서 아닐까?
Bird was Flora's pet, so she kept a single feather to remember it by.
She kept the bird as a pet. And it died?
Maybe.
죽은 게
Maybe it flew
아니라
away.
죽임을
Flora
당한
spends
거
all her
아닐까?
time staring out the window.
이 빨간
By the
통에
way,
담겨
she
있던
kept the
피가
feather.
새의
I
피
think it was
아닐까?
pretty important
사람의
to her.
피란 얘기는 안 했잖아.
All right. So she was holding the feather while Freya was painting her. But where is it now? You'd think she'd keep it somewhere close by.
Yeah, I think she does.
여기 통 안에 있지
Normally.
않았었을까?
This is where Flora usually keeps her feather.
이거 아니었을까?
But we opened it. It's empty.
Mm-hmm.
지금은 없는 거지.
Completely empty. Flora? She's pointing at
It's
something.
just a pile. Wait.
프레야가 준 선물이었네. 아직도
A bunch of old books covered in dust now, but they look.
Oh.
Yeah, there might be a reason for that. I like these drawings, Flora.
Is there a reason why you wanted us to see them?
칼 같은 거의 정체는 알았어요 일단.
So, about this paint we found
이거
in your room.
새의 피 아니었을까?
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs to.
프레야
Let's take a closer look at this.
이거 모양.
Freya's blue paint pot is exactly the same as Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it. Nope. Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya's supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
이것도 왠지 모르게
Why
딴
are you
사람한테서 그
bothering me about
힌트
paint
얻고 와서
anyway?
풀었어야 되는 건가
And none
설마?
of this is connected to your murder.
아니야 관계가 있지.
Blood was used to fill up this red paint pot before Freya used it to paint Flora. Nope. Blood was used to fill up this red paint pot before Freya used it to paint Flora. That's not right. This red paint pot was
서수
somehow
문제였네.
filled with blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
Oh, that's definitely something. Right, fine. Here's the story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure, so I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know, perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
이 아저씨는
Why were you
너무
in such a
수상해서
hurry to
범인이
get a
아닐
hold
것
of red
같아.
paint anyway?
I
너무
was trying
수상해서.
to finish this in time for Flora's birthday.
무슨 느낌인지
I
알아요.
needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question.
이
It
아저씨가
had to be red and
범인이기엔
white.
너무
If you
노골적이야.
managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit insensitive.
Let's go over what we know about the crime scene.
자, 그럼 이거 하기 전에 한번 끊고 가겠습니다.